People always ask me, why do I like the demons in Demon Slayer more than the slayers? Yet, when K-pop Demon Hunters comes out, everyone is flocking for these Sasha boys that are demons. Hello there, my fandom friends! This is a video that I have been wanting to make for a while now, yet I had to really kind of sit with my emotions and feelings for K-pop Demon Hunters and the connection it has to Demon Slayer. If you don't know, Demon Slayer is in my top 3 favorite anime of all time. I'm obsessed. Clearly you can see my background, which is all Demon Slayer for the most part. Demon Slayer is of course a Japanese story, whereas K-pop Demon Hunters is of course a more Korean story. Both very different Asian cultures, yet they have a lot of similarities in common. Today, I'm going to be talking about the similarities that we see between the demons and just kind of an insight to why I love demons so much in the Demon Slayer world and how that connects kind of spot on to the K-pop Demon Hunters world. There's things that are very specific in K-pop Demon Hunters that happen through lyrics and words that I realized really helped me explain why I love the demons so much in Demon Slayer. If you have never seen either of these things, I highly recommend both. If you have not seen Demon Slayer, know that there's not going to be any major spoiling going on, so let's get into this. So first off, I wanted to start off by talking about some similarities we see between the demons in Demon Slayer and the demons in K-pop Demon Hunters. First off, it's very easy to see that demons in both of these worlds are these characters that are painted as ruthlessness, unfeeling, and just these entities that are not good. They are bringing harm to the world in some way. In both of these stories, we see that there are very humanoid demons and there are very kind of creature-looking demons that don't really have a humanoid body. In both of these stories, we see that they can kind of transform themselves depending on their ability. Both these kinds of demons are led by a bigger demon king who is trying to take over the world in some way. And if we're looking at the protagonist side of all of this, there are a group of people in both stories that are trying to slay these demons. In Demon Slayer, we have these slayers who use breathing techniques to take out demons, whereas in K-pop Demon Hunters, we have these hunters who are trying to take out demons with their singing. Lots of similarities there between the demons that I think is very interesting and something that was just so obvious on my first watch, yet the stories are completely different and follow very different storylines. So if you know me well enough, you know that I am an absolute sucker for the demons in Demon Slayer. I cosplay mainly demons. My favorite characters in Demon Slayer are Rui, Yushiro, Akaza, Tamayo, literally all demons. The majority of my Demon Slayer videos on my channel are revolving around demons in some way. And yes, I get a lot of hate and judgment for that, which I think is really sad because I'm just loving something that I love. I can't really control that. And so when people are judging me for liking the demons more than the slayers or more than the humans, it's kind of like hurtful to me, obviously, because those are just the characters I'm drawn to. And it's really hard for me to explain why I like the demons so much in Demon Slayer, because I feel like I can go on and people just don't understand, because they're always gonna fall on the side of the slayers, the protagonists who are taking out these demons, these bad entities on the world. However, when I watched K-pop Demon Hunters and through some of the lyrics and some of the words that were spoken between Rumi and Jinu, I finally felt seen in a really strange way that helped me justify why I love the demons so much in Demon Slayer. And of course, that also goes for the demons in K-pop Demon Hunters. There is so much depth and backstory and everything that goes into demons in both of these stories, especially Demon Slayer, just because that is a finished story that has multiple seasons, multiple episodes. Of course, compared to a movie, it's kind of hard to equate that evenly. However, now I kind of just wanted to talk about how K-pop Demon Hunters really helped inspire me to share why I love the demons so much in Demon Slayer. First, I wanted to share a quote that was between Rumi and Jinu, specifically coming from Jinu, a demon. And this is in one of the scenes in K-pop Demon Hunters where I believe Rumi and Jinu are kind of going back and forth on the roof, or it was one of the scenes where they were together. And Rumi says something along the lines of like, oh, well, demons can't feel anything. And Jinu is like, that's all we do is feel.
I know what it feels like to have them.
Feel? You're a demon. Demons don't feel anything.
Is that what you think? That's all demons do. Feel. Feel our shame, our misery.
And that made me really emotional because that's how I see all the demons from Demon Slayer. Maybe not all of them, but most of them that have a solid backstory that comes from them making some kind of mistake as a human that they regret enough to make them feel emotions as a demon. So I'm gonna give a couple examples here. I want to first talk about Kyogai. He is the demon that was from the Suzumi Mansion in one of our first episodes. He was one of our first demons that had a more fleshed out backstory about him wanting to become a writer. He wanted to become an artist through his writing, and he was told again and again that he was not good enough, that his writing was not anything that anyone would ever want to read. And that turned him into wanting to become a demon. Even as a demon, Kyogai still thought that he was worthless and purposeless. When Tanjiro tells him that he thought his ability was beautiful, that's the moment that Kyogai starts crying and he stops fighting. As a demon, that's extraordinary because you can tell in that moment that his feelings and emotions meant so much more than him just wanting to end people's lives as a demon and be under Muzan's control. He fought past that because he was feeling so much on the inside. So much to the point where he just ended up dying, letting Tanjiro defeat him. Now, of course, you know I want to talk about Rui next, my favorite character in Demon Slayer. I have so many videos talking about him, so I'm gonna keep this brief so I don't talk your ear off forever. Rui, as a demon, all he wanted to do was have a family. I'm actually getting emotional talking about this. This is how much I love demons, okay? Rui, as a demon, literally said, almost word for word, something along the lines of, the more power I had, the less I remembered my real family. So why does he split his power to all of these other random demons to become a part of his spider family? So that he can have less power himself, so that he can remember his family. That is him having a very human emotion that all he wants to do, even as a demon, is remember his family, his true mom and dad before he got turned into a demon by Muzan. That comes from real human emotions and feelings, bringing it back to what Jinu said. I'm gonna talk really quickly about Gyutaro and Daki. Another prime example of siblings that love each other so much, and when one of them is passing away, Ume, or later Daki, Gyutaro had to save her, so he made that decision to turn her into a demon through Doma and everything that happened there. Their love for each other as being the only family that they had left powered them to keep going as demons. They always had each other's back. They always protected each other, and in the end, you can see their hardcore emotion for each other. Ume did not want to let Gyutaro go to hell. She could have gone to heaven, yet she decided to go to hell with him so that they could be together. Again, such a human feeling and emotion. All these demons do is feel. I'm not even gonna get started on Akaza. The movie comes out in a few days, so I don't want to spoil anything, but just you wait to see Akaza. There are so many demons where we get these gorgeous backstories of them truly representing all of the human feelings and emotions that they have bottled up inside, yet they're still being portrayed as these horrific demons that are ruthlessness and unfeeling, as K-pop Demon Hunters talks about. And so when I watched that scene of Jinu for the first time, I got pretty emotional. My reaction to this is on YouTube in video format if you want to check it out. I don't exactly remember how I portrayed that on the outside, but I know on the inside I was like, oh my gosh, because I heard that and all I could think about was Demon Slayer and my love for the demons. I'm getting emotional. I want to talk about another scene from K-pop Demon Hunters that also made me emotional, and that is when the girls are writing the song Takedown. Of course, this is a song about taking down demons. We see that Rumi feels more and more uncomfortable the more that they're writing the song and the more that they are singing the song, because she's forming these connections and this bond to Jinu, who is a demon, also knowing that she's part demon herself, and she's starting to really understand the situation more. It's the scene in particular that got me, where she's in her bedroom and she's with Derpy and Sussy and she is reading the lyrics and she crosses them off and changes them.
When your patterns start to show, I see a pain that lies below.
This scene really stuck out to me as well, because not only is she realizing that in that moment, but that was my realization when I watched Demon Slayer and started to really fall for these demons. Going back to Kyogai and his story, he meant so much to me when I first saw his story. He still means so much to me. And then of course, when we get to Rui's story, when we get our first demon that has such a tragic backstory, he instantly became my favorite character. Because demons are these creatures, these monsters that humans and slayers and these hunters see as these vile beings on the outside, but they don't know what's going on the inside. They don't know where they were in their life as a human. In both of these stories, it seems like anybody could become a demon. Whether that's in Demon Slayer, where you make that choice or it's forced upon you, like in Daki's case, or in K-pop Demon Hunters, when the voices start getting to you, like in Jinu's case, and you turn to that. It's also like a choice. But these characters that we call protagonists, who are trying to take down these demons, these antagonists, as we are seeing, don't know anything about them. They could easily become demons themselves, whether by choice or by force. And at that point, who would stick up for them? And I think that's the magic we see, of course, through Nezuko and Yushiro and Tamayo in Demon Slayer, and of course through Rumi in K-pop Demon Hunters. Once you see this character that you love so much as a human, and then you later see them as a demon, but you still love them because you've been through their journey. When Nezuko got turned into a demon, you feel bad for her because you see that Tanjiro is trying to save the only family he has left, and you know that she's such a sweet girl. Nobody hates on Nezuko, but they hate on all the other demons. Or in K-pop Demon Hunters, when we're looking at Rumi, in the first part of the movie, we see her as this human who's trying to take down the demons. When we find out that she has patterns like a demon, we're instantly like, oh my gosh, I feel for you, I love you, blah, blah, blah. But then we're still hating on all the other demons because we don't know where they came from. And of course, people fall for Jinu and the other Sasha boys because they're hot. That's why people love Akaza and Doma and Demon Slayers, because they're hot. There's a lot of really interesting reasons why people end up liking a character, whether it's because of physical appearance or their backstory, what they go through, whatever it may be. There's a lot of interesting things to take into account here, but that's not exactly what we're talking about today. Anyway, reeling this conversation back to what we were talking about, and the point of all of this is, yes, I love demons. I love them so much more than the slayers and the humans that we see in Demon Slayer. This is because these characters have so much depth and backstory and trauma and tragicness that happens to them compared to the slayers. Yes, of course, most of them also have something completely tragic going on, but for the most part, they are always out for the demons, and they never consider what maybe they went through in the past. Of course, we have these unique situations with Tanjiro and Giyu, Nezuko, Tamayo, and Yushiro. There are very unique instances, and yes, I love those characters so much more than other Slayers that don't really take that into consideration. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about this, and it's just something that I've been thinking about for a really long time now after seeing K-pop Demon Hunters, and it's something that I always knew deep inside, but it was never portrayed outright in Demon Slayer. So when I watch K-pop Demon Hunters and a demon is saying things like that, and then Rumi as part human, part demon is saying things like that from the clips that I shared and talked about, it's just really impactful. And it made me want to talk about why I love the demons in Demon Slayer so much, and to kind of explain myself for the people out there who hate and judge on people like me who love the demons so, so much. There's so much more that goes into it than just, oh yeah, I like them. There's so much explanation. For each demon, it's not just all of the demons as a whole, because of course there's demons like Doma and Enmu and Gyoko who were probably just bad people. There's not really anything redeemable there. Whereas like I talked about with Kyogai and Rui, Gyutaro and Daki, Akaza, there are other demons where there's so much more depth there. And they're special for their individual reasons, because they each were a person at the end of the day that went through life in a completely different way. They're each at different stages of their life as well. That is going to wrap up this conversation. I really hope you enjoyed this. I don't really know even what to title this or summarize this as a description, because this is truly just drawing these connections between Demon Slayer as an anime from the Japanese culture, and then of course K-pop Demon Hunters from the Korean culture, these stories that I saw line up so well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, how you see the demons in Demon Slayer, maybe before I talked about this and after, or just how you see them in general. Anything you want to talk about in the comments. Let's have a nice respectful conversation down below, and I will see you in the next video for some more fandom fun. Bye!